afternoon and welcome to video number 4 on the Xero seminar. So this next video we're going to be looking at the purchases side of Xero. So if you've just logged into Xero, to access bills you can just scroll down and click on bills you need to pay, just like with the invoices, or you can go to accounts and purchases. So those of you who are already using this section within Xero will probably be quite familiar with a number of these areas. So like with the invoice side of things, we have a graph here that will show us any bills that are awaiting payment on particular days within the month, so we can see when most of our payments are going out. There is a draft, awaiting approval, awaiting payment, and overdue screen, just like in the invoice side of things as well. And you can click on any of these lists here to see the list of invoices that make up those totals. There is also the ability to enter purchase orders within the bills section as well. So if you wanted to create a new purchase order, click on New, Purchase Order, and you have the ability to enter in whatever details you need to, very similar to quotes, invoices, same layout, same concept. So you can put in the contact name, whoever it is that you're sending the order to, the delivery date for when you need the particular products. You can then either just type in the information, or you can choose the items that you have in your list. Once you've approved a purchase order, you can then email that or print that and send that off to the suppliers. So here we have ones that we've sent off and have since been approved. You can then from here copy the purchase order through to a bill, another purchase order, or to a sales invoice if you're wanting to on-charge those costs. Back in the main purchase area, there's a few other options in relation to entering in bills as well. So you can create repeating bills, like with the repeating invoices. If you have a bill that you get on a regular basis and you don't want to have to type it in every time, you can put in the information by choosing how often the bill repeats, the first bill date that you want to enter in, the payment terms on that bill, an end date if that's relevant, and then you can choose whether that bill comes in as a draft. So if you need to make changes to it each time, if the amount changes slightly or something along those lines, you're better to choose that option. If the bill doesn't change and it's always going to be the same regardless, click on the approve option. And then from there, enter the bill as normal, and then click save, and Xero will generate a repeating bill for you going forward. Otherwise, if you're just wanting to enter a bog standard bill, click on New, and then from there, very similar to the sales invoice layout, you can put the contact name, the date of the bill, the due date, and the same tools that we talked about in the sales invoice screen work in this area as well. So if you want to add a set number of days after the due date, go plus and then the number of days. If you want it to be a set day of the month following, type star and the day. You can put in a reference if need be, and you can also attach the information that may be attached with that bill. So say you could also attach the bill itself to the transaction within Xero and any other supporting documentation that you may have. This is once again particularly useful if you have purchased any assets or you've bought them on finance or something along those lines. It's very useful to have that documentation attached when you're entering in the transaction into the system, because it saves time having to hunt it down later on. Now the key difference between invoices and bills is, sales invoices and purchase bills, is this totals box in the top right hand side. So this total acts as a checkpoint to make sure that whatever you've put into your details down here matches back to the total that you have in the top right hand side. So to demonstrate, I'll just put in the contact. I'll say that it's star 20. Now, as you'll see, that as I've been entering in this contact, it's actually giving me a warning to say that currently there is a purchase order outstanding for this supplier. If I want to, I can click on this here, and it will copy the items from that purchase order to my bill. And like with the quotes and invoices, if this is the only bill I'm going to do for this purchase order, I'll tick mark as billed. Otherwise, until it's the last bill that I'm going to raise against that purchase order, leave that unticked. In this case, it's the only bill I'm going to raise, so I'm going to put a tick beside it and click OK. The total of my bill is going to be $782.61. Sorry, it's actually going to be $900. So at the moment, if I try and save this, it will give me a warning to say that my totals don't match. Now, the reason for doing that is if the bill that we've received doesn't match, so the bill lines that we've entered in doesn't match to the total of the bill that we've entered in here, this is acting as a prompt to make sure that, oh, hang on, your bill doesn't actually agree, which means I then need to revisit it and go, okay, what lines have I missed? What dollar amounts have I not put in? I'll be like, oh, hang on, I actually missed this purchase. And also the amount should be exclusive. So I can change that. That should have been $840. This should be 900 less the 840. So once you have all these details to match up as need be, and all the boxes match as they should, you can just click approve, and it will then save that particular purchase. Like with the sales invoice screen, the payment area down the bottom can be used to enter payments if need be, but if you're paying them from your bank account, let Xero do the work for you. Don't go and enter in the details there. From the bill screen, you can click on the attach document symbol to attach information to the bill, or you can print off a PDF of it if need be. Otherwise, you can also copy it to another bill as need be as well. And lastly, in the bill screen, you also have the ability to do batch payments. So what this means is that if you have multiple bills that you want to pay in one run, and you don't want to have to go and grab individual ones and pay them all separately, what you can do in Xero, tick off all the bills you want to pay, click on batch payment. It will then tell you how many items you're wanting to pay. You can click OK once you're happy with it. And it will then pull up a screen like this, where you'll choose the date you wish to pay it and which bank account you want to pay it from. Now, it is crucial that whatever bank account you choose here is the bank account that you're going to import your batch payment into when you log into your internet banking. The reason being is that if you bank with multiple banks, for example, and say you've chosen BNZ, but it's actually an ANZ account you're using to pay it, Xero formats the batch payment in a particular file type that will only work with the bank in question that you've selected up here. If you only bank with one bank, then that's fine, no issues there. But if you do bank with multiple ones, make sure that you choose the right bank account in this option here. And then you can put in whatever particulars, code and reference that you want to have to show on your bank statement. And then you can check the information that's showing down here to make sure that all the bank accounts are in and any other details that need to be sent to your suppliers when you pay their bill. Also, if you're only wanting to part pay a bill in a batch payment, in the column for payments, you can click on it and type the amount that you wish to pay on that bill. Once you're happy with the information, click Make Payments, and it will then create this screen will come up where you can then export a batch file and import into your internet banking site. Now, a couple of things to bear in mind. If you are looking at using the system, make sure that your internet banking website allows you to import in files. If it doesn't allow you to import files in, then unfortunately this system won't work. And that unfortunately is often the case if you're not on a business banking package. You can also send remittance advices from the screen if need be as well. Otherwise, that covers off everything in the purchase screen. So the next area we're going to have a look at is the GST return screen, and that will be covered in our next video.